Oh, it's so weird to be back. I can't even tell you.
I hate you being here.
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely.
I'm joking. I'm doing a joke, man. I fucking hated not having you here.
Oh, thank you.
What was it like not having Ant on deck there?
Not having Ant on deck.
Yeah.
Can't say I noticed it personally. It was strange how much I spoke about like the UK version of the show there, because there were so many elements of it that were quite different. That I mean, the country that it's in for a start.
No celebrities as well. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, no, it was just, oh my God, so many things. It's hard to even know where to start speaking about this experience because I was gone for an entire month. I was in the jungle for 28 days total.
So when did you came out on Thursday?
Yeah, came out on the
I
Thursday.
knew he was
just
gay.
gone.
I knew it. I had an inkling. I think it was the boyfriend. How long after did you hop on your phone?
So you get out, you get evicted, and it's very, very overwhelming. All of the other people that got evicted kind of did an interview in camp still, and then they would come back the next day and do a proper sit-down interview where they go through everything, and then they do a live cross to us. So we'd get a TV put in camp, and we'd get to like speak to them briefly, and we'd be like, hey, oh my God, how is it on the outside world? But because I was in the last group of people to be sent away, and then Andrew was there, and I got to like be reunited with him on camera, which we had no idea was happening, because on the UK version of the show they fly everybody's family out from the moment that people start to get evicted, whereas on this one we had no idea what was going on. They kept us in the dark. And they flew people's families out from like halfway through people getting evicted. And then obviously I was in the last one, so Andrew was there, but I didn't know. So then it was very overwhelming. Then the show's finished. I go to the end. I was like crying. Fireworks are going off.
I
I'm
saw
like,
you
what
walking
the hell?
down the bridge.
Oh my God.
Thinking about it, that is such like a
Overwhelming.
yeah.
George, you do not know the half of it. Like when you're in there, you are so deprived of every single thing that you know, love, that makes you feel comfortable, everything. It was truly like the way that they edit the show, obviously, is to put in all the good bits and the fun bits. Truly, that was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. There were 3 separate times where I asked to leave the show. I thought that I couldn't do it. It was...
You actually asked to leave?
Yeah, 3 separate times, like fully like crying, sobbing, saying, I need to go home. I cannot stay here.
And what did they say? Like,
they would just be like, right, let's talk it through. How are you feeling?
Oh,
like,
come on, mate.
No, yeah, come on, mate. Yeah,
Stick it out, will you?
But they would be like, this is how you feel
TV.
right now. But when you leave, you're going to feel differently. And that's 100% true. Like now that I'm out, it's almost like you instantly forget, oh, that was like incredibly difficult and I cried every day and it was so hard. But, you know, oh my God, how fun was it when I did a blow dart and I won chocolate? Like, so leaving, I was so anxious and confused and on edge every single day in there and emotional. Like the levels of emotions that I felt were so pure and genuine, and I could not switch it off. I remember after like the first few live shows where they'd say like, it might be you, whatever, it's not you. It was might be me every single day. And it was either me or might be me every day other than one day for like the entire first week of the show.
Jesus.
So I was on edge. Like, I would even say to them, to my campmates, I'd be like, I think that they're only doing it because I can't control myself and my hands shake so much I would freak out. So I was like, I'll be like, today I'm just going to be blank faced. I'm not going to give them any reaction. And then it was almost like the producers were listening, and then they'd tell Robert to say it to me first.
Oh, it was almost like the people who have a mic when you were listening.
Shocking. So then to catch me off guard, they'd call to me first. So I remember this one day I was like putting all the effort in to hold still. And then Robert went, Max. And I went, and my whole body would seize up. Like, I can't even tell you. So when we're leaving, it's so overwhelming. I've just been given chocolate for the first time in ages. I had like juice and not had juice, like all this sugar in the interview. I was like grabbing it. Then I've been reunited with Andrew. Like I didn't even recognize Andrew's face. Like it was such like a hazy like figure in my memory. Like I started to lose track of what people in my life looked like. you fully go insane. Like, it's mental. There's no experience like it. And then, yeah, you go down the bridge. They cut the cameras. You go down. You walk. Because we're in the heart of the jungle. Like, it's properly in the jungle. So we had to walk for ages to get to a car. And then, in order to leave the show, you have to kind of do all these things, like a check with a therapist, a medical check where they weigh you, they check all your body that there's no ticks or bites or anything. And then you do like a little publicity check where they brief you to prepare you for that moment where you get engaged with the internet and everything again.
Yeah.
They kind of went through like my biggest moments, some of the storylines that happened. Because obviously in there, truly, if you were to ask me what I said yesterday, I would have no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was being shown, how I was being portrayed. I didn't care. I was so exhausted and stressed out every day. I literally didn't care.
Was there anything that you were worried was going to be in?
No, there was really no moments. Like, as strange as it sounds, I think because it was a really good group of people.
Yeah.
There were obviously some moments where like there were little tiny spats or like little things like that. But I remember saying to the producers, like, this is boring as hell. Like, how are you going to make a TV show out of this? We're all just getting along well. But obviously, I mean, it was the highest ratings that they've ever had.
Really?
They were really, really happy with it. When we got out, oh my God, the stuff that the producers were saying, I could not believe it. So, like, picture I've been in a jungle with no understanding of anything that's happening, no desire to even hear anything that's happening in the outside world in terms of me, because I was so worried that bad things would be happening to my family, that I was going to get killed by a snake, a scorpion. Like, this was all that was going around in my head. I wanted food more than anything. I would think about it constantly. I went deranged. I wrote Andrew letters whilst I was in there, and they sound like the letters of a madman, so I brought them with me so we can have a look at them.
That is so funny.
Honestly, like, I don't think that you can ever explain or they can really accurately portray just how difficult the experience is. Like, the heat, it was 40 degrees most days, and in camp...
Even that would have just killed me off.
100%, it did with me. And even in camp, it's all like bush around it because they have to hide like the camouflage cameras in like this big sphere around us.
Yeah.
And then there's a canopy on top. So if it was 40 degrees, it would be around 45, 46 degrees in camp. So you were so exhausted, so drained by the heat that you would be physically unable to move. Like, the amount of times that I nearly passed out, I had to keep like going to the medics. Like, it was exhausting.
Did they, like, when you were in camp, did you have to be in the actual camp bit, or were you allowed to go down to the little, like,
yeah, you could go anywhere.
And stuff?
Yeah, you could walk wherever you wanted.
Oh, I'd spend my whole time swimming.
Oh, yeah, well,
I'd
that's
turn
what we
into a
did.
prune.
No, to cool down, we would go and get in the shower, go and sit in the creek. There was a waterfall that we could walk to.
That's
but
cool.
some days, the waterfall was like a 10-minute walk away. And some days, it was genuinely so difficult to even though you knew when you got to the waterfall, you'd cool down, your emotions would be more regulated and you'd feel happier. It was such a difficult decision. Like, can I do that 10-minute walk? That's how serious it got. Like, all of us would be every day like, I just don't know if I can do the walk today. Like, it would drain you so much.
Yeah.
And you just didn't feel... Me personally, the heat killed me. And I just could not be myself. That's what 4 days in, I went to the producer and I said, I need to go home. Like, I can't... There's no point me being here. I'm not being myself. I can't be myself because I'm so exhausted. And I knew that I passed out on the first day going into it. So all I thought was, everyone's just going to think I'm this
I don't
pathetic
think anyone
loser.
saw that, though. No one saw
shocking. So all I thought was, everyone's just going to think I'm this pathetic loser. I'm going to keep getting voted for trials and I can't be myself. Like, I was just overthinking it so much. So I asked to leave. And then obviously I didn't. I ended up staying. But sorry, what was I saying? Sorry, there's so many things that I want to talk about. And it's
On
the sort of thing that...
trials side of things, what was the hardest? What was the most fun? What was like, oh, I was a bit naff? Like,
honestly, the trials were the best parts of the day. If
They
you
did
got
seem
voted for a
fun.
trial, they weren't fun. Don't get me wrong.
Some of them did seem fun.
Yeah, I mean, the one that I got to do where I wore a giant sponge, that was categorically a fun day out. Like, that was incredible. And on that day, I'd asked to leave again, and I'd said, like, I can't do it. It was close to the end as well.
Yeah.
But, like, when you're in there, I don't care about how this is going to impact my career. I don't care about my career. I only care about my friends and family. I only care about my mental health. Like, it's so it so narrowly defines for you what is important in your life that you choose to not care about all of this bullshit. And it became more of like a spiritual experience that I was doing to test myself and my bravery and things like that. So the day that I got put forward for that trial, that was the last trial basically of the season.
Yeah.
And I said, if I don't end up doing a trial today, I think I'm going to walk, because I can't spend another day in camp just doing nothing. Like, I'd gone completely mad by that point. So the fact that I got to, because when you leave to do a trial, you walk out the camp and then they film you walking to the trial, and then they blindfold you, put you in a blacked out car, and you're not allowed to speak. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a production. There was 600 people working on the production there. So they do not want you to see other human beings, speak to other human beings, realize that there's a world outside of the camp.
They want you to feel like you're so isolated, basically.
You're institutionalized, like 100%. Camp is your world.
That's so funny.
The camp is your world to the level where if a small thing happened that went wrong in your day, like for me, there was this one time where I like dropped my shoe and it fell down and I had to like hop and go and get it. And I've seen that they've made it into like this funny clip or something. Truly, that like devastated me. Like, that was like a moment where I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to die if I have to hop down and get this shoe. And I remember nearly getting emotional over it, because if the whole camp is your world and there's nothing going on in your world and you are deprived of everything that brings you joy and comfort, then if something good happens, it feels like you're on top of the world. Like the nighttime games that we would play where we would win chocolate if we did well, literally felt like I was winning a gold medal in the Olympics. Like, I cannot tell you the pride. You would go to bed like, oh my God, I can't believe that I hit that blow dart. Like, I can't. And then likewise, people would go into bed, I can't believe that I didn't hit the blow dart. Like, I'm such a failure. Like, the slight things that would go wrong would feel like your world was ending, because camp was your world. So when you get to go out to do a trial, you get to sit in a car that's air conditioned. That blows your mind because everything is so hot and sweaty. Yes, you have to wear a blindfold and you can't know anything that's happening, but you know that your day is going to go 10 times faster because you're doing an activity. Wow. Yeah. Even though you know it might be difficult, you might be under pain, you might be really having a horrible time, you will still get back to camp feeling like you've done something with your day, which is such an underrated feeling. It's the same kind of headspace that, like, in the outside world, if you sat there and did nothing all the time, you would get depressed. Yeah. Like, the levels of depression and high emotions and anxiety were so strong in there that if you got to go and do a trial, and I was lucky, I did the most trials out of everyone when it was like people voting for the trials and everything. Other than the group one that I missed out on because it was just the top 3 at the end, I myself did the most trials, which is crazy to think about, knowing that going into it, I was like by far the most unknown person in Australia. So you kind of get an inkling of like, okay, so people are voting for me to do the trials, or people are picking me to do the trials. Like, something must be going right,
or incredibly wrong,
incredibly wrong. Exactly, though. Like, that is genuinely the headspace that I was in. Yeah. So I would go to the producers and I'd say to them, I need to leave. I can't do this. And they'd say, Max, you are doing so well. You're overcoming things that you never thought that you would be able to do. Yeah. And I'd just be there, but I'm pathetic. I freak out over everything. I'm an anxious mess. Like, people are just going to be making fun of me. I don't even care if people are making fun of me, because I don't care about anything. Like, I just wanted to go out, move to a cottage with Andrew and my mom and like just eat food all day. Like, truly, that is all that I cared about in the world. I couldn't even fathom thoughts outside of that. But, oh my God, yeah.
What was the eating trial like?
That was truly horrific. And watching clips back now, they obviously make things seem a lot more funny and fun. Yeah. And truly, that felt like you were assaulting your own body. That's all that I can describe it as. And the volume of food that we had to eat, because I've only ever watched the UK version, obviously, because the Australian version is not available in the UK. Yeah. They will like say, here's this penis that you have to eat, and here's a cocktail stick of the end of it. We were eating the full knob, full egg.
Oh, you had a full-ass nipple. What the hell was even that all about?
The nipple was not only nippling, it was hairy, it was leathery, it was massive.
I said the century egg, off the face of it, looks like the most like difficult thing to eat. I would have. I feel like I'd have preferred that over the nipple.
Oh my God, honestly.
Like a texture like that in your mouth. I wouldn't like that.
I said going into it, I hope that I do not get a drink. And I was so glad that out of the 3 of us that were doing that trial, them 2 got a drink and I didn't.
Yeah.
Because the volume of the drink, it was like a bigger, more than this mug. It was like a coffee that you'd order, like a medium-sized coffee was the volume that they had to have. Bear in mind, they're drinking like lamb tongue, lamb esophagus mixed with cockroaches, blended all together. The smell of these foods were enough to make you vomit alone, never mind having to eat it. And for our food trial, they didn't give us a time limit. So for the other 2, the whole thing was you have to finish this in a minute, and whoever finishes it first wins, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas for ours, each one, me having that egg, easy 10 to 15 minutes trying to get it down. Reggie, at the end, drinking her drink one that she had to do, 30 minutes, if that. Because the rule is, if you vomit, it doesn't count. You had to drink your own vomit. So there was points.
Oh.
Yeah, there was points where Reggie she had this like bug and kale smoothie or something like that.
Nice.
Massive cup. She's drinking it. As she's drinking it, vomit is just going up into her mouth, spilling out. She's having to get it, put it back into her mouth. When I had the nipple, I had to prove. So I'm eating the nipple, I'm chewing it. Vomit poured out of my mouth whilst the nipple was in my mouth. I had to prove to the producers and to Julie and Robert, I was like, that's vomit from the past one, not from the nipple. The nipple's still in my mouth, so I had to get the nipple out. And then it was all like half chewed up, covered in vomit. I had to put it back into my mouth in order to get the start. Because bear in mind, I'd done 2 trials.
Who the fuck are you?
I know. And I was first, so we were all talking about it, and we were all like, oh, nobody expected that specific trio. My track record was fainting on the first day, then getting voted to do the first trial in which we got 0 stars because it was this basketball one that was ridiculous.
That was insane.
That was really difficult.
That trial was insane.
That was a time where I not kicked off, but I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, you've got us on I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. Isn't the whole point in the trials that the amount of which you test yourself and your bravery reflects the stars that you get? Do you know what I mean? Like, everything's difficult, but everything should be doable. So that if you can face the snakes, if you can face the cockroaches, then you deserve to get the stars. We all face the fear of going on the heights thing.
Yeah.
But we just weren't good at basketball, which if you would have given me that challenge on the ground on a nice summer's day with no breeze, I still would not have been able to get any of them in there.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one.
It was so strange.
Like the thought process of the producers in that one, just to be like, should we just put a basketball really fucking high?
Honestly. And the thing was, when I did it on the first day, so I mean, there's backstory as to why I fainted as well. So people don't know the true story about why I fainted on the first day.
Oh, Max is a massive pussy, that's why.
I mean, that's part of it, definitely. But, so we got told, I don't know if this is breaking contract. I'm sure it's not, but we can review it later. So the day that I had to give up my devices was the day before I went into the jungle. So when I arrived in South Africa, I had to shoot all my promo there, whereas everyone else did it in Australia because that's where they live and that's where the production company was. So I had a full day of doing my interview, my everything, the intro shot where I'm like, here, whatever. So it was a really long day and I started to get very bad diarrhea.
Sorry, just cutting in.
Yeah.
Is the intro the same as
Yeah.
What was your one? We didn't see the intros.
I shot multiple, but I think I've not properly watched an episode yet, but from what I've seen, I just go point at my name below, and then I'm like...
Funny if they didn't put your name there, just point at your own cut.
But I did shoot a lot. I wanted mine to be this. But they did. They were like, no, that's
Those
weird.
are some of my favorite TikToks. The generic comedian just goes...
I know. I was so glad that they didn't have... I think if they knew more about me at that point, they would have had me react scared to something.
Yeah.
But they didn't, so I was thankful. But yeah, so I started to get really bad diarrhea. Beyond diarrhea that I've ever had.
Nice.
It was just water flying out my ass. It was not pleasant. But I was like, maybe it's the fact that I'm nervous. I could have eaten something on the plane, whatever. Go to then give up my devices at 6 p.m. that evening. And then As soon as I give it up, that night I was awake until 3:30 in the morning. I had to go and wake my chaperone up and tell her to call the medic. I was crying, saying, I don't think I can do the show. I've never felt this ill in my life. I was vomiting, shitting so much. They made me count how many times I went to the bathroom. 36 times in one night. 36 times. Full transparency.
36, counted them myself.
Full transparency, I shit myself. I actually shit myself. I was laid in bed and I shit myself. I couldn't control it. That's
And
how
hold on,
sick I
this
was.
is before you got in.
This is the day
That might be
before.
the most you
Not even
thing.
in yet.
No, this is the night before I'm going in. So it gets to 3:30 a.m. and I have to wake up at 5 to get into the jungle. So I had an hour and a half sleep. Get ready. They offered me hair and makeup, but I missed the slot because I was like, I don't feel well.
You
I'd
do a
rather have a
shit.
little bit. Yeah, I'd shat myself. So I get ready. I'm really nervous. I've not been able to hold any food down, but I was like, I'm going into the jungle. It is what it is. So then they had me film this intro scene. What?
Now you walking up to them and saying, I'll be completely honest with you, I'm fighting, not shitting myself.
Oh my God, it was
That
true.
makes so
It
much
was so true. I can't even tell you. So then this morning, this is the morning I'm going into the jungle. I go and they make me film this intro scene where I'm like looking around bushes and whatever. And then I have to go and sit in a car because everyone had to shoot those scenes. So we're in blacked out cars. I'm sat in the car. I fall asleep. 3 hours goes by. I get woken up by the medic and she's like, you really need to eat something. Like you can't go on like this. But then they told me, you're not actually going into the jungle today. We've had to postpone it by a day because what you're doing is too dangerous for the current weather conditions. So it started to rain and there was wind. So then that told me like, oh, I must be doing something up high, like with heights or whatever. But it got delayed by a day. So I had to go back to my hotel room, basically, sit there. I sat there for 7 hours, could not hold down any food. At this point, I started to vomit.
Were you allowed to watch TV or something?
I was allowed to watch Netflix.
I was going to say, fucking hell, if they made you just sit in your room.
Oh my God. Honestly, it was so anxiety inducing because I was like, I'm not even able to do anything. I can't speak to anybody and I'm just now in this room. So I'm
That would
watching
be
TV,
weird.
7 hours of like constantly going to the bathroom, vomiting, like feeling awful. And then that night I couldn't hold any food down. Could not sleep really, but I managed to get about 4 or 5 hours sleep.
Hell yeah.
So I felt a tiny bit better. So I was excited about the fact that I got an extra day because I was really, really unwell the day prior. That morning, same again, go to the exact same place, had to get in the same clothes because they made it seem like not a day had gone by. And then I actually went into the jungle. But just before I did the bit where I like meet my campmates and everything, the producers said to me, don't worry, like everyone knows that you've been really unwell. Robert and Julia know that you've not been well. We're going to take it easy on you. As much as we can, we're going to take it easy on you. This is a really difficult time, but all that you've got to do is do this trial. And then you're in camp and then it's all just fun from there. You're just getting to know everyone, explore, like you're going to have a really good day. Don't worry about it. So then I get in there, we're jumping off the cliff. We find out, obviously I'm very scared of heights. But I was more so like, I can do this. Like, I know that I can do this with everyone's support.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. Because it was such a supportive group from the offset. Like, we were all already hugging each other. Like, we felt like we were a unit.
Yeah.
But there was no definitive order as to when we would be jumping off. And then it came to, I'm the last person that has to jump off by myself when everyone else had a
Yeah.
group of people helping them, supporting them. So then I started to panic because I'd not eaten in like 2 days at this point, really. So I had very low blood sugar. I started to panic, couldn't catch my breath. I'm in this harness that's really tight. So then I was just like, I need to sit down. And it looked like it was all as a result of me having to jump off the cliff, which it kind of was, like, don't get me wrong, but there was a lot of backstory that kind of led to me having such an extreme reaction. And obviously nobody would know that. But yeah, I did ultimately jump off. And after that point,
Did you shit yourself?
No, I'd had 5 Imodium to hold me together.
Nice.
But that resulted in me not shitting for 6 days. Once I'd got in there, I didn't do a poo for 6 days. And then I did the biggest poo of my entire life. Like, my legs lifted off the floor. I'm not even joking. And I came out and I said to, I think it was Samantha, I said to her, I was like, like it felt like I was gonna scream whilst it was coming out. Like all of my body tensed up at once, and it felt like this like religious euphoric experience. Like it was mental. But yeah, so that's how I entered the jungle. Very cool, calm, collected.
That is all so you, Max.
That is insane.
Guys, honestly, the level of anxiety that I was operating at all times was unbelievable. Like it went through stages of not caring about anything, not caring about the production, just wanting to go home and leave this all but in the past, to this is the most important thing that I'll ever do in my entire life, and I'm letting down everyone that I love and care about. And it was so difficult. Like truly, if you were to ask everyone in there, they would tell you it's one of the most difficult yet rewarding things that they've ever done in their life. Like, oh God,
that's funny.
I just feel crazy.
What was your order of things that you did when you came out?
So I came out, and you get to go and you go to the production base where like all of the producers are, all of the cameras. I got to see like how many different camera angles there are and everything, which was crazy because when you're in there, there's cameras that you don't even spot until 2 weeks in. I was still finding new cameras. But it was the most overwhelming thing of my entire life because there's 600 people that worked on the production. I probably met like 300 of them all at once. So I've not seen humans, not spoke to people.
And they all know
everything about you. Guys, I would walk into a room and 50 people would stand up and applaud me. People were coming up to me. People were getting emotional, saying that they thought I was going to win it. They wanted me to win so badly. They're so proud of me. I'm a hero. People kept calling me a hero over and over again. And I'm just there like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I was like, thank you. This is really kind, but I have no idea where you're getting this information from. Like, I had no knowledge of anything that was shown, anything at all. So I'm just like, I was a complete mess from the moment I went in there to the moment I left. Like, what are you talking about? It's so hard to fathom whilst you're in there that a TV show is being made. Like, so meeting the editors that would edit all of the footage of me talking for hours a day and them coming up to me and being like, I feel like you're my son. Like, I feel like I know everything about you.
That's very intense.
Very intense. Very, very, very intense. Like, people asking for photos and I'm just like, what? Like, it was the most overwhelming experience of my life. And then I did like 15 radio interviews back to back, TV interviews, morning TV and everything. And it was like all the big radio stations across Australia, Radio Sydney, Melbourne, everything. And they're all just like so excited to speak to me.
That's so funny.
And so like when I tell you, showering me with praise. And this is not me bragging. This is me saying, what the fuck? I've still not watched the show back. I have no idea. Like, from my perspective.
It's so like Truman Show-esque.
Oh my God. Like... Honestly, George, like from my perspective, I knew that I built like good relationships in there. And even though I was the youngest person in the camp, there were definitely points where like I would like help and support like my other campmates. Like I really enjoyed doing that. Like I felt like this real duty of care for like people's emotions. Like it's really interesting how much of a caregiver I kind of became in that environment, considering I'm not really like that like before this. So I knew in my mind, like I knew that I'd got along with everyone. Like but it's so hard to judge yourself like positively in that environment when you're just focusing on getting through to the afternoon without crying. So then to have all these people be so kind, so positive whilst I'm walking around with a bag of M&Ms just like stuff in my face because I've not eaten in months. Like, it was just weird, so overwhelming. The radio interviews blew me away. Like, I could not believe some of the stuff that they were saying. And it's just, I mean, still now, it's so, like, family members that I don't get to see or speak to much. All of Andrew's family, some of which I've not even met yet, watch the show. And now feel like they know me on this deep personal level. Like, they all are, so like, funny. Messaging, reaching out, saying how much they adore me. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm truly shocked by it. Like, it's blown me away in ways that I cannot even explain to, like, unless you go through that experience of like self-doubt every day, like questioning who you are as a person, like how you want to change your life when you get out of here, and then being confronted with like people telling you that you did amazing and that they really love who you are as a person, is really, really weird, because you can't fathom that, number one, you're doing anything right, and number two, that anybody would care about what you're doing in there whilst you're in it.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's been the most.
Well, that makes sense.
It's been incredible. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I just felt like I was on cloud 9. Like, I've never felt highs like that time leaving.
What was the first thing that you ate?
First thing that I ate, they gave me. I walked into a room and you had like a meeting with the producers before they like signed you off from the show. And they had like massive packets of Walker's Crisps, Smarties, nuts, berries. I ate all of it at once, like massive packets of crisps. And they had to tell me like, please calm down. Like you're going to get more food. Like we're not going to take it away from you, because I didn't trust them that they wouldn't take it away. So I was eating way too much. And then they filmed me eating like a spaghetti bolognese, because you say before you go in, what would your dream meal be? And they film you eating it when you get out.
Yeah.
And I had a spaghetti bolognese with Parmesan cheese, garlic bread and everything. And again, they had to tell me like, stop it, like, because they film us.
Stop.
Yeah, they film us eating and they wanted our reactions and everything. And then after it, they were like, right, we're just gonna finish now. So like, and I was like, no, don't take it away, don't take it away. And they were like, we're not taking it away, you weirdo. But I'd developed this like fear of people taking things away from us.
That's so funny.
Oh my God. And then when I got my phone, I couldn't type on it. I could not type. I was on it. And I was like typing everything wrong, and it instantly gave me a headache.
When you turned it on, was it just...
Oh yeah, like so many notifications, like, and it was so overwhelming. I was trying to write messages to like my family group chat, and I was writing it all wrong. Yesterday I went to Marks and Spencer's, walked out without paying. Walked out, did a full shop, scanned every item through on the self-checkout, walked out without paying. They had to chase me down because I'd just forgotten all of these things that you have to do. Like,
You forgot about paying?
yeah, no, it's so...
It's not like you grabbed everything in the basket and walked out.
Yeah.
You actually scanned it
I
to
scanned
pay
it all.
and then didn't pay.
Yeah. Like, it's so mental. The little things that I've noticed that I am doing, like, even, oh my God, yeah, like driving here today.
Oh yeah,
mental.
Driving
Thought I was
in
going
London
to
is
die.
crazy anyway. But...
Thought I was going to crash several times. Forgot how to do petrol. It's weird. I was away for a month. But because you are so deprived of everything, it changes your brain chemistry in that month.
I'm wondering if this is a you thing or if this is like
Probably a me
a
thing.
universal thing. If people were to go in and forget to pay and how to fill your car up with petrol.
Honestly, yeah.
With your phone, how many notifications would you say you had there? when
Oh,
you came
thousands. Like, it wouldn't even...
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, also, like, Maisie and Andrew were obviously running everything whilst I was in there. So social media was more, like, up to date. But, like, the amount of messages and stuff that I was getting from people. And then when I would go to Instagram and, like, see how much, like, the numbers and everything had changed. Because going into it, I knew that Australia has, like, a lower population than the UK, like, audience for the show. And they have less viewers. So I wasn't expecting to really gain any followers or anything. And seeing, like, how much that jumped up, like, how engaged people were, the amount of messages that I was getting from a very different demographic to what I'm used to. Like, I've got a lot of women aged, like, 40 to 50, men aged 40 to 50, like dads and parents that are reaching out to me, like, wish that you were my son, like, would love, like, all of this. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm still
insane.
so intrigued to see what is in the show. I've not watched a single episode yet. Obviously, I've seen the clips and things like that. But yeah, it's just... Oh my God, it's the wildest experience of my entire life. Like, I absolutely loved it. I can look back now and see the lessons that I learned and how I grew as a person. And I'm so grateful that I got that opportunity, because truly it has changed my life. Like, there's no doubt about it. Even little things like, I'm not enjoying scrolling on social media. Like, it makes me feel anxious. Like,
I think that will come back though.
I don't know, because I'm really, like, I've said to Andrew, like, I want to make a conscious effort to change our lifestyle. Like, I would have conversations in there and I'd say things that, like, I thought were more normal. Like, I can only get in the shower if a YouTube video or a podcast is playing. Yeah. Otherwise I feel awkward. I feel anxious that, like, there's not something to distract my brain. And the older campmates were like, yeah, that's not normal. Like, that's like, you should be able to, like, I said I can't go for a poo unless I'm on my phone. Like, I can't do it. Like, my body would shut down. It would be like, what? No, we need something to distract ourselves. Whereas in there, You had nothing at all, not a single distraction, even during the days, because it's such a long show. It's not like they jam-pack the days with activities.
Yeah.
So there's really only one trial and one game in the evening. That's
Is
literally
there
it.
anything that you can do to occupy yourself in the day? Other than
I
just
was
chat?
colouring constantly.
Oh,
So
they
when
give
we
you, like, pens and
when we
stuff?
got our luxury items, someone brought in notepads, paints, and crayons, and that saved me as a person. I'm not even joking. This is a butterfly that I drew. Like, guys, you don't even realise this is my butterfly.
That's really
Oh,
good.
that's
Yeah.
what? How did you go from that? Hold on. How did you go from this
That is
to
insane.
this?
I had nothing but time, and like, truly, I used to colour a lot as like a child and like paint and everything. But as an adult, why would I ever say colouring? Like, what a
Yeah.
waste of time. It was so meditative and like put your brain in such, it helped the time go faster. So, and because I couldn't think of anything to draw because my brain was operating on like 2 brain cells, I would just draw the things around me. I drew like 4 butterflies, and then I started to write letters to people.
Really big poo.
Really big poo, yeah. But honestly, it was just, yeah, I'd say I spent my time. We would also come up with our own fun. So like I made a talk show one day and like I was the host of the talk show and got everyone to be guests and everything. And the show really helped us like produce it. Like they gave me a chair to like have for the
Yeah.
talk show. So I spent like 2 days writing everyone's cue cards out, like writing everything. Someone had beads as the luxury item, so we would make different bracelets. We made like
Oh, is that why you had so many bracelets by the end?
yeah, so many bracelets. My plan was to make one for like everyone that like I know and love. Basically, I was going to make you one,
Oh.
but then I made too many, and we started to run out of the material, so we had to more evenly share it out because people were like, I wanted to make some for my kids, and Max has made like 10. So I had to like give some of mine up, and like,
Yeah.
which is fair.
Well, you sacrificed me.
Yeah, basically, you were unfortunately not at the same level as my grandma on the list. I apologise.
That's
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking. But
like
no,
to see
it
her
was.
pulling this amount of. Go on, get Nancy on the podcast next time you fuck off.
I will do. But yeah, no, you would just really devote your attention to certain things. Some people wrote, so there's a guy called Sam who won the show, who's like a really big rugby player, and he wrote a children's book whilst he was in there.
That's so
And it was
cool.
incredible. Like it was beautiful to see, like the level. So I started to write like letters to my family. So I dated this letter. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
So this is the day that I was convinced that I was leaving. So this was when we were down to the top 7, and I was certain that I was leaving. I was at peace with it. Up until this point, I thought that I was leaving every single elimination, and it would shock me so much when I didn't. And then this time, I was like, I know that I'm leaving. I would look around at everyone, and I'd be like, I know that I'm going to leave. So I wanted to write a letter. This is how emotional I was. I wanted to write a letter to like remember how I felt in that moment. And it's so fucking dramatic. Are you ready? Wednesday, 12th of Feb. Dear family, I feel like today is my final day in the jungle, and I can't help but reflect on how much I've changed as a person throughout this last month. So I'm writing my thoughts on the back of this butterfly that I drew a week ago. Lol. I came here terrified of my own shadow, but now I'm mostly scared of lizards, which I guess is growth. I've done things that I never dreamed I would do here, mostly being jumped on by Sam whilst in a giant sponge costume, eating my own vomit whilst trying to swallow a nipple, and making lifelong friendships with the kindest and most interesting people I've ever met. I can't wait to tell you how high the highs were and what I learned about myself in the lows. But most of all, I hope I've made you proud, because I'm very proud of myself and my fellow campmates. Can't wait to see you and show you my beard. Here's to the camp of 2025. Then when I found out I didn't go, I had a panic attack. Burst out crying on the spot, because the guy that went, Harrison, I thought that he was going to win the show. He was my pick to win. I thought he was just so kind, so lovely, and he left in the top 7 part. That meant that I'd got through to the top 5, which I thought going into it, I'm not well known in Australia. people are going to probably turn their nose up at me when they realize that I'm young and I'm an influencer and stuff like that. So I really thought, just enjoy the experience because you're probably going to go like first or second.
Yeah.
So every time after that was the biggest shock to me. But this day specifically, I mentally prepared myself to go because I'd been there for like 23 days at this point.
Yeah.
So then the next day I wrote a letter again. Hello again. Thursday, 13th of Feb. So my last message was a bit dramatic, in a shock to no one. Haha. And it turns out it wasn't my last day. I made it to the top 5. I absolutely cannot believe it. But it wasn't, I ended up having a panic attack when I found out because I was so in shock. At first, I was very embarrassed about my feelings, but then after a chat with Sam, I realized that it's great that I showed people it's okay to have those sorts of emotions. We shared so many stories together around the fire last night and said one by one why we are grateful for one another. I think that was my highlight of the entire experience, as well as watching Reggie try to eat a penis. We slept in double beds last night and I was so grateful. I'm feeling so much gratitude now and I can't wait to show you the new me. See you soon.
Hell yeah.
That's lovely, but so not me. Like, when would I do something like that? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so dramatic, but I'm kind of glad that I've got it because it's a reminder of how intense the experience is. I also felt very childlike in there. Towards the end, all of the young people similar to our age got vaulted out quite quickly.
All right.
So I was when I was in the top 5, the oldest person next to me was like 36. The youngest person next to me was like 36. So I felt very childlike and emotional in there. Like, I felt like Sam was my dad, and when I started to give him compliments the night before, I burst into tears. Like, I was just so emotional. Like, I couldn't control my emotions or regulate it at all. Oh God, what else did I get? Funny. I kept some of the jungle mail.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
If it was ever about me, I would keep it and put it in my bag, and no one else did that. I thought it was strange. I just wanted to keep it. Do you want to read it?
Of course.
This one's quite funny.
Celebrities. As a result of Maddie, Max and Geraldine winning one star for camp in today's trial basketball, tonight you have one meal worth of yellowtail, coslet, vine tomatoes, African cucumber and avocado. And for those who can't eat seafood, your protein is pea tofu. For dessert, you have one mandarin. Jubilani ukudula.
That's quite good pronunciation. I think it just means like enjoy your meal or like bon appetit sort of thing in South African.
Nice.
But yeah, the portions were no lie. Like we all would share one mandarin, have like a slice each, and it got so competitive. Not competitive, but like strict with the portions.
Yeah.
People would get mad if like it looked like one person had half a spoonful more of the beans than the other. Wow. Because you really are in like fight or flight mode. Like, it's life or death. Like, the amount of exhaustion that you feel is directly related to the food that you're eating. So, oh my God. Oh, it's wild. It's fucking so crazy.
Did you come out and realize anything? You were like, oh shit, that happened. I didn't realize.
Oh, like in the world?
Yeah.
They gave us, so one segment that they did was they have like the most popular newsreader from Australia who's like been on the news for years to read us messages from home. And half of it was like, so like mine was like, my grandma can't wait to see me and she's going to make me an egg and cress sandwich for when I get out, because that's what she always used to do for me at uni. And it would be a picture of my grandma, and it would be the news reporter like, Max's grandma wants him to know that when he gets out, there's an egg and cress sandwich waiting for him. So it was really cool to see that. And then they did a series of world news. They told us like something that Donald Trump had done with like making it illegal to recognize more than 2 genders or something. They told me that Beyonce won a Grammy and Taylor Swift presented it to her. That was really cool. Told us the Premier League scores, and everyone joked like that it would really impact my life when it, obviously I didn't give a shit. What else? There was floods in a certain part of Australia where some people were from, so they told them about that, but then told them that their families were safe. But truly, I have no knowledge of anything that's happened in the outside world in the last month, really.
That's useful. Because I jotted down a few things that I thought you might...
Oh my God.
That you might be interested in?
Oh my God, I'm so interested.
Okay. Number 1. Actually, quite fitting considering the show you've just been on. Ant and Dec announce professional retirement.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What are they doing? Why?
I don't know. I think they've just thought, oh, we'll quit while we're ahead. Like,
Oh, bless them. That's mental. What are we going to...
I know.
Why is this hitting me so hard? That's crazy, though. So they wouldn't have even... When are they doing that? Or is it done?
I think just like once this like BGT
they've got to do
series
one
will
more
be the
season
sort
of I'm a Celeb,
last-
surely.
I don't know. I don't know. But that's the whole thing. Like,
Oh
who's
my
gonna
God.
pick it up?
Yeah, that's mental.
I've thrown our name in the hat.
Oh my... I mean, listen, if you need any hosts for I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here UK, I think that me and George would do incredible
And
personally.
BGT, obviously.
And Britain's Got Talent, of course. I'm sure that there's no two better men for the job than us.
Of course.
We're British and we're both extremely talented.
Um,
That's mental.
next one. I didn't think you'd really care about this anyway.
Okay.
England knocked out the group stage of the World Cup.
Oh, no. Wait, what does that mean then? So,
So
they're not
we-
even going to get to the World Cup? Like the main bit?
No, we've got knocked out of the group stage. So
The first round of the World Cup we got. knocked
So,
out.
we're
yeah.
just not going to have that whole fun vibes
No.
of the World Cup. That's so shit. What a shit team. Who's on the team?
But pretty much everybody from last time.
Is like Wayne Rooney still a thing?
He says he's still a thing, but he's not playing
He's not
football
playing.
anymore.
Oh.
No.
So they were that bad. Didn't we do quite well like the last time?
Yeah, well, the last competition we
Wasn't it the
we
semi-finals?
got to the final, and
The
then
final,
the World Cup. Yeah, I think it was a semi-final.
Oh my God. Because it was the Euros that we got to the...
We got to the final of the Euros. Yeah,
And
now
then
we
they just got knocked out. So then that's it. Like no
Yeah.
summer of fun.
no summer of fun.
That's crazy. I don't care about football, of course, but the only thing that I actually care about is when England do well and the whole country becomes really fun.
Yeah.
That's so shit.
So that's happened.
Oh my God.
Another one, the thing that Trump did. He renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Did he actually do that?
He's actually done that.
Julia, who is the host of the show, Julia Morris, she made a joke. Robert claimed that he could reel off every single state in America.
Yeah.
And he sang this song. And at the end of it, Julia went, "And the Gulf of America." And we were like, what? And
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
no,
producers laughed and all the cameramen laughed. And we were like, okay, what does that mean? So he's actually done it.
Oh yeah, no. So he's
If you look on Google Maps now,
it was called
No.
it was called the Gulf of Mexico, and he was obviously just like, well, it's American.
That's
I think,
wild.
yeah, crazy.
That's wild.
Pluto's been renamed a planet. In space news.
Was it not Planet?
No, it was a planet, and then
Oh.
it was classed as a dwarf planet.
Oh, right, okay. But now it's called just a
But
planet.
now they were just like, oh, let's go to a planet again.
Is it
'Cause
still called
I
Pluto?
think it was a like a petition sort of signature thing.
Oh, that's cute.
And people went, let's just call it a planet again.
Oh, that's nice. Good for Pluto.
Yeah, good for Pluto.
Yeah, I feel like Pluto deserves that. We could see Venus really well every day from camp.
Could you?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
What about Serena?
No, she wasn't there.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
This one, I have not even got a clue who this is. Eric Girardi. Eric Girardi?
Erica Girardi.
Oh, is it Erica Girardi? Apparently they're pregnant.
No! Erica
Yeah.
Girardi.
Who is that?
If this is the person, is it a Real Housewife?
I don't know, but it was like I typed on like Google and it was like a thing that happened. It was Erica
George, if this
Girardi.
is true, I need to know this immediately.
Well, no,
Wait.
we'll move on to the next ones
Erica.
first.
Wait. Girardi. Surely. What? Wait. What? Wait. That's a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills.
Really?
This is maybe the most important information that you could have told me. I can't believe that Andrew's not told me this yet. That is crazy. She's like in her late 40s. Good for her.
Hell yeah! Good
How
on.
the hell is she? I mean, I have so many questions.
Good on
That's
Erica. I mean,
mental.
I had no idea who she is.
Oh
so
my
it
God,
is-
she's iconic. That's mental.
that is really insane that she's pregnant.
Yeah. What?
Okay.
This is so fun seeing your reactions.
Oh my
and
God, I
stuff.
can't believe that. I can't believe that you knew to tell me that.
I
That's
didn't.
like incredible.
I feel like I don't know. Google's just on my side for
Oh
this
my
one.
God, that's brilliant.
Next one, the last wild pelican has been pronounced dead, so they're only in captivity now.
There's some in St James's Park in London.
Not anymore.
Well, I guess that would class as like captivity. Then.
Oh. Oh. That's sad. I like them in Nemo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's quite funny.
Go on.
John, but not Edward, has been announced for the charity match.
I thought you were going to say it's come out as gay.
Oh, no.
Oh, John, but not Edward. So it's just... It's
John from John and Edward is in the charity match. I think it was on numbers basis.
The one that you're doing?
Yeah.
That's mental. I mean, good for John. I feel like John will be great.
But I thought there's been a bit of like a tiff.
Oh, so it could this be the end of Jedward?
Edward's like a bit upset about it.
Well, Edward should surely be upset. I think if you're going to include John and Edward in the charity match, I think that they should both be those people that hold the flags. Do you know what I mean? I think that that's what they should do.
Okay, yeah, I'll put that forward.
Pass that forward, please.
And then finally, I don't know if
you've not done that, by the way, have you?
What?
The charity match?
No.
Right, okay, that's coming up.
Yeah, by the way, final, have you listened to Arthur Hill's new EP? He's got new songs out.
Mm-mm.
So since you've been in, it might be 4, but he's got 3 new songs on his EP.
Oh.
And Arthur TV features on one of them.
No.
People don't really know this, but
doing what?
It's just like a ad lib.
Like speaking in it or singing?
Just a little ad lib, like a afterwards.
Oh, like a
yeah.
Does it say featuring Arthur?
No.
Featuring Arthur TV. Oh, so
No.
it's just like a secret little.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Arthur Hill. I would also love to ad lib on a song at some point. I think that would be really fun.
The final thing that I've got to say is that only one of those facts is actually true.
And now you have to guess which one.
What? Is Erica Girardi not pregnant?
You have to guess which one is true.
Oh my God, but I just Googled it and it said that Erica, it was like an Instagram post of her saying, I'm pregnant, lol. But is that a joke then? It says secrets out, oh, it's from 5 years ago. Look, I searched it. Her Instagram, secrets
that's why
out.
I was so confused.
Yeah, we were all a bit confused by your response.
It says secrets out, ... I'm pregnant. 5 years ago, though. I didn't see that bit.
Because I went, oh no, move on, we'll get on to the next one. And then you just backed it up and I was just like,
That's
oh, okay.
crazy.
Oh, yeah, so which one of those do you think is true?
Oh my God, this is brilliant. Okay. Right, so the Gulf of America, Pluto being made an official planet, Erica Girardi being pregnant, and Arthur TV being on Arthur Hill's song.
Yeah, England being knocked out of the World Cup group stage.
Oh
and
my God.
Anton
Oh my
Deck
God, I
announcing
hope
their
that one's
professional retirement.
Oh my God, Anton Deck. Yeah, I forgot about that.
The last Wild Pelican being pronounced dead. John, but not Edward being announced for the charity match.
So is that not true?
Only one of them is true.
I'm just now realising that they're all not true.
Only one of them is
Right,
true.
only one of them is true. Oh my God. I think that the one that's true is the Gulf of Mexico one, the Gulf of America.
That is true.
Is that the only one that's true? That's crazy, first of all. But second of all, why is Arthur TV not on Arthur Hill's? Why was my first thought? Oh, if he's doing that, why can I do it? So Erica Girardi is not pregnant. Anton Deck. I mean, thank God Anton Deck or not. That really upset me on a personal level for some reason. That's brilliant. Wow. Oh my God, John and Edward. This should be the linesman, though. That would be incredible.
It's so funny how you just bit straight down on that and believed every single part of it.
Of course I did. I did think, Andrew would have told me if Erica Girardi was pregnant. How did you know to say Erica Girardi
Just
as well?
typed in Real Housewives cast.
That's brilliant. I love
deliberately
that.
just didn't call her a right name, so you'd feel like, oh, Erica Girardi, obviously.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. I really, I believed every single one of those. You could have kept going. I would have really believed anything that you said there.
How much do you think happened in a month?
So much could happen. I don't know. Oh my God, yeah, that's wild. It is mad how, when you're out there, we would genuinely be like, oh my God, imagine if World War III has started, like this could have happened, that could have happened. And then, no, everyone was just kind of like, not much has really happened, like a little bit of world news happened here and there, but nothing too crazy. Yeah. That's wild. I believed it. I was like, oh my God, John and Edward are finished. This is crazy for their relationship. Wow. Brilliant. Love that. Thank you.
But right now we've got a few Cristiano Ronaldos from the audience.
Oh, brilliant.
For you. Number one. Who did you bond with the most?
I felt really close to Samantha went out first, and I cried for like 3 hours. I felt like she died when she'd gone. So I was really close with her. Tina as well, similar to my age. Also Nikki, who is older. She's like double my age, but I really gravitated towards her. Sigrid is a movie star from Australia met Nelson Mandela, went for dinner with the Queen. She's like this iconic woman, knew David Bowie. Like, she's sick, and she had so many cool stories. Shayna, the Olympian, if you knew much about her. Lovely. I truly
not really
loved
the question, who did you bond most, though, is it?
Oh my God. I mean, I really bonded with all the girls.
About your bondage.
I bonded with Harrison a lot as well. I think he's such a lovely guy.
Yeah.
God, I really loved all of them. Like, I truly did. Reggie, I love Reggie. Geraldine, I loved. Yeah, it's so difficult to answer that question.
Notice you haven't said the person who won it yet.
Sam, loved Sam.
Oh wow, so it looks like there's a little bit of bad blood there between him and Sam.
No, I love Sam. I spent most of my time though, I'd say, with Tina and Samantha before they got evicted.
Did you get to speak to Robert and Julia a lot?
Yeah. So after we'd finish, sometimes Robert especially would come. Julia sent Andrew a message for me on Instagram,
that's cute.
which was really lovely because I was struggling a lot that day. The day of the basketball challenge, I think that she knew that the vibe was really low because the trial was a bit too difficult.
Yeah.
And she was like, do you want me to send a message to your Instagram account to any of your loved ones? So I sent like a quick little message. I didn't get to hear like, oh, Andrew replied or anything like that, but just the knowledge that she passed on a message saying like, saw Max today, he's really good, he misses you a lot. Like, that felt really nice. She was such a kind, caring woman. Like, she's very batshit, and like her sense of humor is mental and hilarious and crazy, but she was very kind to her heart. And Robert Irwin is just a dream. Like, he's so talented. He's 21 years old.
That's insane that he's 21.
Insane. The amount that he does outside of the show for like animal conservation. He would casually say to me, so after we'd finish a trial, he would always come to like the blacked out car that we had to be in. And he'd be like, Max, like, well done. Like, you did your family proud. Like, he was so kind.
Bless him.
And he just would casually say stuff like, yeah, like, after this, I'm sticking around in South Africa for a while because we're going to get a helicopter over a lagoon. I'm going to abseil in, get some crocodile eggs and disperse them more evenly around the jungle to help the wildlife growth and not have it all concentrated. And I was like, who can be asked? Like, he's rich, he's successful, he's gorgeous, he's young. And he's such a nice person who cares so deeply about wildlife, about the world, about his family's legacy. Yeah. And it was so impressive to see. Like, he really would go above and beyond. Like that. And at the end, I got to have like proper big chats with him. He invited me to go and stay with him in Australia. Like, he is such an incredible person to meet.
He just seems so happy.
So happy, so talented. Like, his mum was also there with us throughout the entire season. She flew out there. She was never on the show, but every trial that you'd go, she'd be backstage and she'd come over and like have little chats. Like, after the food trial, she said that was like the craziest shit that she'd ever seen. And she like gave us a hug, but we all stank, and I was like, you don't have to do that, Terry. That's insane. Oh my God,
they're such a cool, just like nice,
oh my God,
passionate family.
Honestly, like, hearing more, because obviously we know about the Irwins in the UK, but hearing on, so like, Sigrid knew his dad and like came to the Australia Zoo like with the family and everything. So she would tell us some stories sometimes, and it is just like his death was such a loss to the world. Like,
to think about, like, because it even in the UK. Like, when he died, everyone was like, oh, shit.
Oh, my God,
like, I've never even, like, stopped to think that, obviously, that would be, like, tenfold in Australia.
Oh, my God. Honestly, George, like, this family and this man were, like, the top tier of, like, not even celebrity, like, well-respected, like, influential people. They're just such an incredible family, and the fact that I got to know Robert in the way that I did, I'm so grateful for that opportunity, and Julia as well. That's probably like the coolest part about the experience. Like, even on the way home, like, we was with Julia in the airport lounge, and like, she's like giving out weed gummies like to help people relax. Like, she's just brilliant in every way. It was like, she was just like, do you need it for the plane, sort of thing. She wasn't like dishing out drugs.
That's cute. What was the best meal you had in camp?
Ooh, so on...
Because they're all... Is it similar to the UK one where it's just like the craziest shit that they just...
Yeah.
Fucking anteater
Alpaca.
escallops.
Yeah, alpaca black chicken, which I'd never heard of. It's like a basically really skinny chicken that has no meat on it, which was great to find out.
Snatch
Multiple
chicken.
different fish. What else did we had an ostrich egg. We made egg fried rice with ostrich egg.
I've seen them where the huge ones, you just crack them open and it's sort of massive egg.
It was like a dinosaur egg. Like touching it was mental. Oh my God. I mean, one of my favorite meals actually was the egg fried rice that we made.
Did the egg taste different to normal egg?
It tasted the same. I don't know whether it's just because
You hadn't had egg in a while.
I hadn't had egg in a while, and we cooked it and fried it with the rice. So we scrambled it, fried it with the rice, and then added like onion to it and everything. So
Yeah.
it kind of gave it more flavor. But truly, to me, it tasted the exact same. Like I would not be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
That was really cool. They called it the dark days, so there was 5 episodes a week, whereas the UK one has 7 a week, every night of the week. So on the days where there was no live show and there was no episode, we were still in there, and it wasn't like they just gave us have a day off sort of thing.
Yeah.
There was no trial. If anything, those days were the hardest because you had no structure to your day.
Because I guess in my head I thought it would be like the way that... Is it Love Island that does it, where they've got
they have a day off,
but they take... they still have things that happen, but it's edited around sort of like the Saturday episode. Which day off is it? I don't know,
so on the Sunday episode, that would be filled of like, here's some things that our celebs got up to this weekend, sort of thing, and it would be little snapshots of our weekend.
Yeah.
But truly, they were the most difficult days because you had no structure, because your emotions would change so much hour by hour. And towards the end, I started to be able to predict, it's around 11 a.m. now, which means that you're probably going to have a down spike because it's going to get hotter, you get really hungry, and then you start to get more emotional.
Yeah.
Whereas around 4 p.m., whoever's doing the trial is going to come back, and then we have dinner, then it's night, it gets cooler, you play a game, and it's really fun. So being a down day, a dark day as they'd call it, with no structure whatsoever was so difficult because you had nothing to do. But the only upside was that they'd give us nicer food. So the food that we got would be based on the amount of stars that we got in the last trial that we did. So they still kept true to that. You get stars that reflect the trial that you did.
So what was the down day? A Sunday?
It was Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. Oh, yeah, 2 days off.
Two days.
So you'd know if you were on a Thursday challenge
that you have a lot of weight on your shoulders, and that was one that I got one time. So I was shitting myself because I was like, "This is 3 days worth of food for these stars." However, they gave us a little bit more. I think they said that it was based on that, but it truly would have been cruel to do that on the days but they gave us more exciting food. So we had on one of the dark days, they gave us this big stew pot and all the ingredients to make this South African traditional lamb stew. So we had potatoes, lamb on the bone, beef stock, all still we had to cook it from scratch. They gave us bread to go with it, but we had to bake the bread ourselves in a bread tin on the fire. So that was one of our favorite dishes as well. And last night Andrew made that same stew for me. I found a recipe for him online. I'm going to have it for tea again tonight. It's called a poiki, if anyone's heard of that. But that was probably my favorite meal, but obviously that's not shown in the show. So in terms of ones that people saw, probably the egg fried rice. That was really good.
Which one of your social media friends would do best if they were on the show?
God,
That's a good question.
social media friends. I mean, obviously, I do believe. I mean, if I was able to go into those circumstances and push myself and overcome things that would be so unattainable for me to do, I do think that you would be able to do it.
Oh, do you?
But genuinely, the amount of that, I know how much heat impacts you and impacts your
very
mood.
fair.
And I don't think truly that you would be able to cope. It's when people think of the show, they think of lack of food and the trials and oh my god, it's so scary. The main difficulty of the show is the mental and physical toll that it has on your body hour upon hour, just being there, being bored.
Oh, but I'm an athlete.
Okay. The athletes found it the most difficult.
I'm not an athlete.
If you are
What?
with food deprivation, if you are an athletic person who usually eats more calories because you expel more calories, you are the exact sort of person that's going to find it the most difficult in there. That's why, like, the Olympian Shayna, she found it very difficult. Matty, who is like just this attractive, like, six-pack, muscly guy.
Oh, you don't have to tell me who Matty is.
Oh yeah, big time. He found it very difficult with the food, whereas people like me, I obviously struggled a lot, but I don't expel many calories. As we know, I'm not like, you know, the most active person, and I don't eat as many calories as people probably think that I do.
Oh, well, I never knew that.
Whereas like Sam, for example, went in a lot heavier. He lost 12 kilos
Wowza, Rooney.
in the month, because he was able to not eat as much because he had more like stored up sort of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's what they told us.
I
Yeah.
see.
So yeah, oh my God, I do think that you would be able to do it, but truly, I think that you would struggle so much. Like the heat and the impact that the heat has on your personality. And when you know that you're there for your personality effectively, like I wasn't brought in there because I'm a well-known household name in Australia who it's interesting to see what they're like. I was brought in there because I was an internet personality that the producers obviously thought that I would be fun TV because of my personality. So to be in there and not be able to be yourself because you're so exhausted and worn out by the heat starts to mentally really, really get with you. And I think that you would struggle a lot. God, I'm trying to think of anyone that would do well.
I think I'd just be able to cope with it.
You definitely would. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I 100% think that you would be able to do it, but it's just way harder than it seems.
I'm doing a joke, Max. Pick someone else, I swear. Unless you think I'm the best candidate for the job.
No, I don't. God, who would be good? Who would be good? I'm trying to think of people that we've had on the podcast.
Who's that one that lives with Chris and Arthur?
You.
Oh shit!
Why did I
sorry?
actually
No,
have
I
to
keep
think
getting them
about
mixed
that?
up.
Okay, what about who out of your social media friends you think would suffer the worst in the jungle?
Oh my God. I mean,
I think Arthur Hill would struggle.
yeah.
Oh, he crashes out like nobody.
People that are used to their own space and their own routine, which is most people, but people that rely on that for their mental stability. People like Jack and Ash, for example.
Yeah.
They are very active people that, like, Ash tells me time and time again, like, I need to go to like my Barry's boot camp it's like therapy for me.
Yeah.
I need my morning coffee. I need stuff like that. They're the little things that you realize, like, within a couple of days you're not going to have access to, and you realize how much your everyday self is reliant on it.
But then I feel like you'd say before she went in, you'd have been like, "Oh, Grace, there's no chance she's going to be able to survive in
100%. But equally, now that I know the experience, somebody like Grace, who is a very like chill, go with the flow sort of person, who is not really like. My experience with her is that she's not really much of like a control freak. Like, she very much is like, just show up and like kind of do certain things.
Sure, chill,
like,
guys.
yeah, she's very chill about those things. And a lot of the anxiety comes from, I have no control over this situation. I don't know when I'm getting fed. I don't know what time it is. They won't even tell us the time of day. So you have to be able to surrender control. So anybody that struggles with that, now that I've done the experience, I'm not surprised that Grace did so well.
Yeah. Just sort of really chilled, laid back people tend to do quite well in there.
Yeah, you do great, George.
No, boy.
Oh, what time is it? Don't care.
Yeah, you do really well. No, I think anybody who can really devote. I mean, I would by far be the least person that you would expect to get as far as I did.
Yeah.
I was in the jungle for every day except for one day of the entire show. Like,
Yeah.
that's longer than even the UK version of the show. The final is at 21 days. Our final was at 31 days or
What
something.
competition, man?
No, but I'm
Actually,
saying,
quite
like,
literally is.
the length of
It literally is a competition.
the length of time that I was there blows my mind. If you
Yeah.
would have told me that at the beginning, I would not have guessed that I would be able to stay that long.
Yeah.
Mental.
But I'm proud of you, man. That's
Thank you.
It's good work. More. What was your favourite Aussie slang word?
Ooh.
Slang, meaning social language.
Oh, is that what it means?
I don't know.
Oh, it probably does, you know. That's pretty...
Yeah, slang. So
Yeah, it probably does. S-lang. Clarke. Like that.
Good one.
There's also, like, something that I learned. Fair dinkum.
Yeah.
So you'd like say like fair dues, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Well,
Fair
it's-
income, mate.
Oh, fair income.
Loved that. Fair income.
Fair income's good. I like
Um,
fair income.
If someone was mad, you could say,
I'm absolutely Reggie. Is it Reggie?
Raji.
What is it?
Oh, Drongo. Is that what you're trying
Oh,
to
that's
say?
exactly what I meant.
Raji's Geordie.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I said. Told you.
Yeah, you could call people a drongo. That's quite good. Oh, you fucking drongo, mate. Fucking
Nice.
drongo.
Is that things that they actually say, or were they just like,
Yeah.
oh, let me try to think of what?
Yeah, that was like very
Typically
stereotypical. So they call
Australians
it bogan, Australian. That's
Oh,
like
don't have
what
to
they
tell me
would say.
about bogans. Fuck a bogan.
Yeah. Also, something that they all actually said, which I really enjoyed, is when they were really excited by something or like really shocked by something, they'd go, "Oh, far out."
That's
like
nice,
far
yeah.
out, and they would all, no matter what age they were, they all said that, and I really like engaged with that. I enjoyed it.
That's cool. I like that.
So now I'm gonna start being like, "Oh, far out. That's crazy. Far out.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Far out. Fair income, mate. I'm mad as a half-cut snake. I'm fled out like a lizard drinking. Fair income, mate."
I don't like the
Crikey.
smile you're doing after this. It feels a bit weird.
Should we go and hop in my yurt and pick up some Sheilas? Mate?
Hey.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Yeah.
That bit I don't understand. How you've never heard someone go, yeah, no, before.
Oh, no, it's like I've heard, it would just confuse me. So, like early on, Geraldine would be like one of the main culprits of it. And now I've learned that she has the more traditionally Bogan accent.
Whoa.
So I'd ask her a question.
Geraldine's called you out.
No,
Misfits,
she told
pick
me
it
that.
up.
So I'd ask her a question like, "Oh, Geraldine, like when you do your comedy shows, like, do you enjoy them?" And she'd go like, "Yeah, nah, yeah." So if someone says that to you, your instinct is, "Well, what the fuck did you just say?" Like I just couldn't understand it. Sometimes it would just throw me off.
Yeah, nah.
And I mean, for the first week, there was a massive language barrier. I couldn't understand what a lot of them were saying. There was one really funny conversation that I don't think they aired where we were talking about COVID. And Sam, I heard Sam say, like, "Oh my God, yeah, COVID was really tough. Like in the lockdown, I lost my grandparents." So I went, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I know a lot of people that lost their grandparents like during COVID. That must have been really difficult." And he went, "Mate, I just said I lost my radio show." So I'm like, I just couldn't, like, grandparents, like radio show. I had no idea. I just
The
couldn't.
way that you said
Oh,
that.
I don't understand.
The way that you said that to me as if I was meant to go, oh, they do sound alike, to be fair.
I just couldn't understand what they were saying
Grandparents.
sometimes. I
Radio
don't know.
show.
I just heard the
Radio
word
show.
grandparents. But
Radio
I mistook
show.
him saying radio show. I heard
shows.
grandparents.
Radio
But
show.
was that an accent thing or was that
It was
you
an
were
accent
delirious?
thing.
Because they
Oh.
don't sound the same.
I know, but I
I
don't
lost
know.
my radio imperial show.
No,
How the hell
that
do you even-
doesn't sound the same.
Radio
I know
show.
it doesn't. I know it doesn't. But that's like,
Radio imperial show.
also Australian people call flip flops thongs.
Yeah.
So they were all having a conversation about how Shayna bought her dad.
This aired. It
Oh,
was
was this
funny.
in the show?
Yeah.
She bought her dad orthopedic thongs. And then they're all there like, "Oh yeah, I've got some of those." And I was sat there like, "Oh my God, you bunch of pervs. Like, why are you buying your dad a thong? Like, why is everyone thinking this is normal?" And then it turned out that they meant, so I was like, is it
Yeah,
a
well, I'm wondering how a thong could be orthopedic.
Well, I literally genuinely thought, like, is it an issue in your spine that the thought, or like your penis, and it needs to be like aligned or something?
Is it an issue in the spine of your dad's penis?
I just didn't know. There were so many language barriers at the start, but I started to get to grips with it
Yeah.
quite quickly. But yeah, oh, it was an amazing experience. I just can't believe that I got through it, and yeah, and thank you so much for all the work with the podcast. I briefly caught up with things. Everything looked really great. Boyfriend in the bush.
Oh, the
seemed
boyfriend's
very
all up in the
fun.
bush.
Really enjoyed that. So I'm glad that all our Useless Hotline listeners and viewers got to kind of, keep engaged with what was going on.
Well,
That's nice.
we're glad to have you back, Max.
Oh, thank you.
And I've got a little something for you
Oh God. What is
that is just from us, all of us here at the Useless Hotline.
What is this? What is this? What is this? Why is this for me? What is this? Is it like a mankini with a bow tie on it? Why would this be for me? Is this like a thing that happened that I don't know about?
Oh, that's just an inside joke.
Between you and who?
Basically, I was on the way here and I was like, oh, I didn't think I had my wallet on me, and that was in my back pocket.
Why?
Why was that in your back pocket, George?
I did a side plus shoot recently where we each got there was a selection of suitcases that were abandoned at some point, and then you had to open them up and guess which suitcase was most expensive, and I found that in one of these random suitcases.
Brilliant. So this is not worn, just to clarify.
Well, no, it's an abandoned suitcase. So it
could be.
Oh, so it could be worn. Okay.
So it's literally a random person's.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. This means the world, and I'm so glad that you felt as though you could share that with me. That means a lot, George. Thank you.
That's all right. It's good to have you back, man.
Thank you. And I'm hopefully going to be doing fun things in Australia over like the next 6 months or so. We have no idea what's happening yet, but hopefully if I do get to go out there, we can tie in some sort of podcast tour eventually. Who knows? But being out there, even just being in the airport on the way back, because the terminal was the same one that goes to Australia, met so many people that watched the show that came up to me, and loads of them said that they listen to our podcast as well. So yeah, very exciting times. We'll have to see what's going on out there.
Hell, freaking yeah.
No dilemmas this week. How about you go fuck yourself if you're bothered about dilemma? My boy's back.
Woo!
But if you did enjoy the episode, make sure to give us a 5-star rating on if you're listening. Download us, listen to us on the go. If you're watching, give us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we upload. If you want to send in a dilemma for next week,
Please do so via our email, theuselesshotlinepodcast@gmail.com. I think this is on backwards. Why is it so?
It's not. It's
is it
why,
so difficult?
why is it so high up?
Does that look right?
No,
No.
pirate hat now.
About this? Is this right?
That'll
do, okay. Yeah, do that. If you would like to send in an email or a dilemma, please do so via our email, theuselesshotlinepodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget that you can send voice notes there, and our phones would love to hear you calling. If you enjoyed, leave us a like, a subscribe, all the fun things, rate and review us 5 stars. And until next time, I love you all very much. It's lovely being back. Thank you so much, George, for holding down the fort whilst I was gone, and who knows what we've got in store coming up soon. We'll have to see. Goodbye.